Still check. Oh, there we go. Welcome, everybody, to episode 3 of Disturbed and Confused. Yay! Tonight, we have a very special guest with us. We have United States Air Force Colonel David M. Lange. Very nice to have you with us, David. It's such a pleasure to have you here. What an honor. Such an honor. I can't even tell you. This is very, very exciting for me.
It is.
Very, very exciting for me.
Just sharing the time a half an hour before this, how inspirational he is. I can't wait for you guys to hear the stories that we just got to share with him.
Yes, it's pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. So I would like to also tell everybody that David is also a very amazing author. And he has written books. He has written short stories. He's got essays, poems published. I mean, you just don't stop. You're always going. He's like the Energizer Bunny. He doesn't stop. He doesn't stop.
Over 18 books, short stories. I've actually had the time to share and actually read some of his stuff, and pretty amazing. If you guys ever could, he has his own website. You can look at it. Amazon carries it. It pretty amazing.
Very amazing. So, we have a ton of questions for you. How old were you when you joined the Air Force, and what made you join?
I was 17 years old, so I grew up on here on Long Island. So I'm a Long Island boy, yep. And I always wanted to fly, and I really, I think I had a real appreciation for everything this country gave to me and to all of us. So I wanted to give something back. So it's sort of a confluence of those two things, the desire to give back to the country, and then also my desire to fly that sort of inspired me. And then also actually this is sort of a strange one, but in 11th grade, my dad was a college professor, so he went on some unique family trip sometime. And in 11th grade, in that summer, we went on a trip to the Soviet Union. Back when it was, no kidding, the Soviet Union. So we spent 3 weeks, it felt like 3 years, touring around. And I really got to see some of the crazy stuff, behind the Iron Curtain, as they used to say, really how kind of scary it was and how they controlled people. And, and that really gave me an extra appreciation for democracy and for the freedoms we have in this country. So as if I needed any more incentive, that locked it in for me. I'm like, okay, this is not what I want our country to ever become. So all that inspired me. And then, when I was 17, I had to do some processes initially. It's really a difficult process getting into the Air Force Academy. So you have to get like a nomination from a congressman or senator. The older folks may know Senator Daniel P. Moynihan. The younger folks won't know him, but he was the senior senator in New York at the time. So it was a huge honor because I did interview with congressmen, but actually Senator Moynihan, I went into his office in Manhattan and I interviewed with his staff, and so he's only allowed to have like a few people in the academy at any time. So that was a huge honor to get Senator Moynihan to the academy. So that was great. So I was off and running, and at 17 years old, my parents had to co-sign because since I was younger than 18, I'm not allowed to join the military without a parent.
Right.
Exactly, that's right. 17 years old.
Yes.
So,
pretty amazing.
Dad signed under my name, and then I was off to the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, and started basic training on July 6th, 1984, and that's when my Air Force journey began.
Wow. Well, we have a lot to talk about tonight with David.
Absolutely.
But the first thing I want to say is thank you. And I'm sure many, many of our viewers are going to say the same.
Thank you for
your service.
Absolutely.
Seriously. You've protected us. There are many others out there protecting us. But thank you so much for everything that you do. And you're still doing it. You're still spreading the love and trying to make the world a better place, and I think that's pretty incredible.
As much as I can, thank you.
He's a good guy. He's one of the good ones.
Oh, yeah.
I thank you. I always appreciate people, thank you for service. But for me, honestly, I did a job I loved for 30 years, and it was an honor and a privilege. So I almost feel guilty accepting the thanks for doing something.
Well, it's an honor for you to take time out from your busy schedule to be here with us tonight. We really appreciate that.
Looking forward to it.
We really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So let's move on. I know you had a bunch of questions too for David.
So he has, and if you actually go to his website, if you read a little bit about him, he has traveled to many states. He's traveled many countries. And there's two particular that we actually have an interest in, which is Colorado and Louisiana.
Yay!
So I, as everybody knows, I'm from originally from Louisiana, born and raised. I'm French Cajun.
Oh, awesome.
I am the French
Spicy.
Cajun.
Yeah, good stuff.
Spicy. Rachel Spicy.
Little cuckoo, little spicy. But I actually moved to Colorado when I was 15. And so, how long? What's your experience there?
In both of those places, or
Correct.
yeah, I'll start out with Louisiana. I actually spent 4.5 years there. My brother went to college in Louisiana. He was a graduate of Tulane down there. So as a little kid, I got to walk Bourbon Street. Is like like an 8-year-old.
Did you see Walk It?
There was some interesting stuff that an 8-year-old was never meant to see happening down there on Bourbon Street at night. But that was kind of exciting. So that was my first time down there. But I spent 4.5 years in basically Shreveport, Louisiana. So
Okay, that's Northport.
Yes.
That's the north part of the
north part of the state.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so not in the Cajun part per se, but yes, I did 4.5 years there. In Colorado, I actually spent a total of 8 years. So I did 4 years at the Air Force Academy, and then I came back many years later to be on staff at the Air Force Academy. So I did another 4 years then. So a total of 8 years. Living
So
there.
I have a nephew. He actually was stationed in Colorado Springs, and now he's in Korea. And same thing, Air Force, and actually living the dream that he always has. So
That's
very
amazing.
proud of him. Robbie,
So you
if you're
were
watching,
in 30
love you,
years total.
Yeah, I was commissioned after graduating from the
30
Air
plus.
Force
30
Academy.
plus, yes.
I was commissioned as an officer on June 1st, 1988, and then I retired exactly 30 years after I was commissioned. So,
Wow.
so June 1st of 2018 was my retirement date. So you have 30.0 years.
30.0.
Yep.
We have a few people we know watching that are all saying hello. We have
Hey.
Robin DeVito.
Rob,
Love
how you
you,
doing?
girl.
Yeah.
Karen Delicave saying hello. Robin actually says, hi, look at all of these awesome people. Look in the mirror because you're one of them, girl.
Yeah, we love Robin.
Who else do we have? Jeffrey Schaefer is watching. Hi, Jeff. So let's move on with David. So I know you grew up on Long Island. Where did you grow up?
Great Neck. I was actually born in Flushing, Queens, but that was just the hospital I was born at. So we lived in two different houses, but they were both in Great Neck. One was right on the border of Queens. And then in kindergarten, we moved to the home that I consider my childhood home, which was still in Great Neck. And then I basically spent my childhood growing up there.
Wow. And you're located out east now.
Right. Yeah, I moved out east. So, right now I live a couple miles east of MacArthur Airport.
Okay, so not too far, so we can always get together again.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, out of all the places you've lived,
Yes.
born, raised here, you've traveled the world.
Yes.
What brought you back here?
It's home. I mean, there's the aspect that there's my mom and my dad are still here and they're older and
God
they need
bless
some
them.
assistance. So I'm very glad to be around so I could help them. And my brother and my sister still live in the New York area.
There's no place like home, I always say.
Yeah. So there's family, but then it's the
Wizard
Wizard of
of
Oz.
That was last
I'm
week.
clicking my heels right now.
Clicking the red heels together and we are there.
Are you really wearing red heels underneath there? No, you're not.
Really. Yeah,
We said that we keep that a secret.
We're just joking.
So 30 years in the Air Force, and I never, for all my trying, I never got stationed closer or within 1,000 miles of home. So I just really, missed it. I know a lot of people are like they're fed up with New York, and people are like, I'm getting out of here as soon as I can.
Not me.
There's some of that sentiment out there, but for me, it was always home. It's always the place I missed. It's where I grew up. So eventually, I don't know, maybe I'll wind up somewhere else. But when I retired, I'm like, you know what? I'm going back home. And this is my home, and this is, I love the city, and I love, the island, and, I still have friends here. So
This is my
I respect that. I respect that.
I grew up here in this home.
Oh, really?
My entire life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I would have
Yes,
never
I
guessed.
did. I didn't live here the whole time, but I
Yeah.
came back home because there's no place like home.
Yeah.
I also just want to give a shout out to Marilyn Price of Marilyn's Customs. She made our cups.
Oh, Marilyn!
Rachel loves hers.
Marilyn, I love my cup.
Thank you so much, Marilyn. Yes, she needs her name on her cup. She's jealous of me because I have my name. See? There's my name on there.
She did a great job. These are amazing
Yes,
cups.
they
Thank
are
you.
amazing cups. So check out Marilyn at Marilyn's Customs,
Absolutely.
and she can make you whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see, anybody else? We're getting a lot of hearts and likes. Thank you for your service.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to say,
Yes.
at all the places, because I've traveled a lot. So, of course, I've born and raised in Louisiana. I've gone to Colorado. And then now I'm in New York. And everybody, the first thing they ask me when they meet me, so where do you like it the best? I say I like all three.
Yes.
So I love all three. And but I have to say, and it blows my mind, anybody I meet here, oh, I'm going to Florida, I'm going to move here. And I'm like, this is the most beautiful island, I should say, not necessarily. And actually, I've been upstate. I've seen more amazing places in this state than I have in my
Yes.
life.
Yeah.
And so I have to agree with you. Like, this is absolutely beautiful. This island is absolutely beautiful.
Yes,
So
it
I can
is.
say I love all three, but I might be leaning towards, New York.
Strong Island, baby.
Strong Island.
Strong Island.
Got it. Yeah.
Strong Island. That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
we all have our little sayings in every state. Louisiana, let's let it bon pot rouler.
Right. Let the good times roll. Right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So, David, why don't you tell us a little bit about your book, Quest? I would love to hear just like a short little, of what's going on in here. I know
Sure.
there's a lot of wonderful things in here, and I can't wait to read all of them. I didn't get a chance to read everything, but just tell our viewers where they can find it and a little background of the book. Not the whole story because we want them to buy it.
Yeah, no, it's thanks. It's a story that for years I was pretty sure I was never going to tell. It was something that was deeply personal and pretty much kept within the pages of my diary. I will say that I have at this point over 10,000 pages of diary. Since
Wow.
1982 I started journaling, and I've been going ever since. So it's literally over 10,000 pages. In fact, if you go to my website, if you see me with a stack of books, those are
I did see that.
Yes.
Which was great.
Yes.
It was a great, and his website,
It's pretty incredible. Check it out.
if you want to tell him your website.
Yeah, sure. It's www.davidlangequest.com.
You'd be impressed.
So,
Very
if
impressed.
you just Google David Lange Quest, you'll find it as well. But that's
Check it out, people.
talks about
Pretty impressive.
My writing projects. But a little bit about the book,
Yes.
I guess. Back during a very dark time in my life, I was having a difficult time as a teenager, and then I went on a trip to Spain, Portugal, and Morocco with my family, summer vacation, and there I ran into just a remarkable woman on the tour. Now I have to keep in mind I was 15 years old and she was about 9 years older than me, so it wasn't going to be about hey, let's hook up and date. But I was just so inspired by her, and she was again, I pretty much at that point in my life hated all people. I didn't trust people, and I had a bad outlook, and she was just so kind and caring and nice. And there's something about her too, just one of those auras that some people have that's sort of hard to explain. But anyway, we just in that 2-week period, I was just so inspired by her that when I came back from the trip, I said, all the stuff that's kind of dark in my life and all the things that are difficult and that that I know are broken
Yes.
about me. I'm going to fix it, and I was never
Good
good
for
about
you.
doing things for myself, but I said I'm going to do it all, and I'm going to dedicate it to her. And it's almost like for those who are familiar with the story of Don Quixote, it's almost like Don Quixote and his Dulcinea, where he said he's going to dedicate all the things he's doing in his quest and his great deeds. He's going to dedicate it to his lady Dulcinea. Valerie, who was the woman I met in Spain, was very much that person for me. So I started one by one, fixing these things and fixing myself and, adjusting the attitude. And in this process of doing so, a lot of just sort of strange, unique, interesting things started happening. Some things bordering on the miraculous. Just completely unexplainable. But I set it in my mind that, hey, one day I've got to find her again. And I want to find her and sort of thank her for what she'd done for me to help me out in my life. So the story kind of tracks along that journey from this teenager who eventually joining the Air Force. And again, you asked me about the Air Force. there's part of the chivalry and piece in there too. I viewed, going to the Air Force as sort of being like a knight of the sky. So again, it was sort of a Don Quixote kind of thing where I wanted to, help others, and I wanted to be pretty much, an aerial knight of the sky. So that was sort of my vision as I joined the Air Force. So as my Air Force journey takes me across the world and combat in a couple of wars. I flew combat missions in Desert Storm and also combat missions in Operation Allied Force, which was the air war over
I can
Serbia.
only imagine what that's like.
But anyway,
The
so
adrenaline.
I know I'm happy to talk about that too.
Yes, let's talk about
There
it.
later. But,
Crazy stories.
Yes.
Crazy stories.
We want to hear the good.
Yeah.
but the book kind of tracks
Yes.
along that lines, and again, it's a story that I'd never told anyone until I went to a memorial service many years later, and initially I was asked to speak, and I didn't feel I could, but then, and the book tells a story, but I wound up giving sort of an impromptu. I said I'm going to go and tell this story, and that's the first time ever in my life I shared it with anyone, and just the reception I got was just so powerful to me that I realized that this was a story that people would appreciate and could maybe help people, help to inspire people, and so at that point I sort of got the idea in my mind that hey, I'm going to put this down on paper. It took a while to finally get it there, but I did, and then so last year, 2021, I finally published the full story. So anyway, I hope people
Yay!
Absolutely.
Buy the book.
Yes.
Buy the book.
My best thing is
Blessed. Buy the book.
anything to do with inspiring people.
Yes.
And anyone. It's a great thing.
Right.
As I explained, I actually am in the mix of writing a book, not just myself, but with a ghostwriter, because I feel, and like he says, and as I'm on his website, and word for word, we all have a story to share. Our stories are all worth telling.
Yes.
And that's actually, it actually kind of gave me goosebumps just now. Just for the fact that a month ago I started writing my own book and actually need help. So I do have a ghostwriter, and I think I have a story to tell because I think I'm the most interesting woman in the world.
Oh, so am I.
But don't we all? Don't we all? But more of an inspirational book, and listening to his stories and just sharing the moments that we have. Actually, it's blown away by that. So
I'm completely blown away by David and all of his accomplishments. I truly am. I mean, I could not wait. When you said yes, you were going to come on the show, I told everybody. Just saying. I literally told my entire family, all my friends. I said, this is a really interesting, amazing human being, and everybody has to watch. And they're watching.
And the best part about him, he's single.
He's single, ladies. Who doesn't want to be with a colonel?
Oh my God! I can just saying.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of single ladies out there watching.
Just saying.
So, out of all of the places you've been throughout the entire world, what was your favorite place to go when you were in the Air Force?
Places I've lived or places I've visited or
Both. Sure. Well, favorite place to live besides New York?
Like I can't tell you my favorite place vacation wise that I want to go, but yeah, I mean you've seen.
We want to hear your favorite.
So many places, so many different places, so many different things
Yes.
that nobody could imagine.
No.
But for you, if you had one certain place you could go back to.
Yes.
Just in terms of vacation, I mean, probably the most enjoyable vacation I had was a trip to Ireland I took right after
Lovely.
graduating from the Air Force Academy.
was
It's a place I always wanted to go to. It's sort of like a graduation gift, I guess.
Nice.
My mom and I went there after graduating, and it was a great time because, I mean, it was just like a huge load off of me from graduating. So I was like,
Yes.
so I was like relaxed, and then
Yes.
it's just so beautiful and pretty there. I always wanted to
I hear the
tour around.
colors of the landscape.
The greenest
It's just
place I ever
amazing.
saw. In fact, when I was coming
Amazing.
back from Desert Storm, kind of a fun story, long story, but I'll make the short version. We were on a commercial charter plane flying back, which was a really cool story. I can tell you later too. But anyway, so you have to imagine I was living in the desert for the whole time the war was on. So 3+ months living in a tent. So all I saw was brown sand for 3 months, and then all of a sudden, we and then we took off on the charter flight. We actually did stop in Egypt for a little fuel, but then in Egypt was brown and sandy too.
Yeah.
And then we took off, and I just remembered, and for another fuel stop, we were scheduled to land in Shannon, Ireland, at the airport there. And I can still remember looking out the window. It's almost blinding, just the emerald green. Everything was so green and perfect because this was May, so it was springtime
Yes,
there.
beautiful.
And I just remember like, oh, wow,
Breathtaking.
just breathtaking. Coming
Absolutely.
in and after months of nothing but brown, to see that just beautiful rolling green hills and the lakes there. Just,
So now you're talking about fuel. Tell the viewers what you're referring to, what you did with fuel in the Air Force.
Oh, okay. Yeah, in the Air Force, I was a by trade a navigator. Eventually, rose to level of master navigator after a certain level of experience. So I flew 2 different aircraft. The first was the KC-135 Stratotanker, and the second was the E-4B Night Watch, sometimes known as the NAOC, or National Airborne Operations Center. But the KC-135, that's where I had the majority of my flying time as a navigator, and that is an air refueling aircraft. So what it does is it passes fuel to other aircraft in the air. So if you can imagine, pulling up to your local gas station, your Exxon or your Amoco,
Yeah.
but the Amoco station is going at 500 miles an hour, and now you're having to drive your car at exactly 500 miles an hour, so you can get the gas hose.
I've only seen it in the
Yeah.
movies.
So,
Yeah, I don't even think I've seen it in the movies.
yeah.
It wasn't. I don't remember which name of what movie it was.
Top Gun.
But somebody needed refueling in one of the movies, and
Yeah.
they couldn't meet up, and they had to. It was the one when they were on the boat, and they were fishermen, and the boat went down because they couldn't get fuel in
All
the
I can think
storm.
is Goose and Merrick.
I know it wasn't.
Maverick, right? Yeah.
Everybody knows what I'm talking
Goose and
about.
Maverick.
Maverick.
That's all I'm thinking about.
Yeah, and there's some great pizza place in Maverick.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Bonnie Scalisi saying hello. Hi, Bon.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
How are you, girlie? And Karen Mullins is watching. Sherry Moss is watching. Robin saying hello to Bonnie. Robin said David is so incredibly interesting. Yes, he is.
What's interesting?
Oh,
in the world?
Bruno, our favorite viewer.
Yeah,
Ah,
Bruno.
Bruno! Thank you, baby.
Kisses to all of you. Good evening, Bruno. We love you. We love you. We love you. Everybody, please share the show. Please share the show. Please share the show. Share, share, share. Sharing is caring. Please share. I also want to give a quick shout out to Tara and Jimmy over at the Harmony Bar, Newbridge Road. Go in, meet with them, tell them I sent you, say hello. It's like a big happy family over there. Maybe shoot a game of pool like we did last night. We won.
They did win. They did
We
win.
kicked butt. We're in second place and we're going to the playoffs, baby.
Yes, they are. Yes,
Yes,
they are.
we are.
Yep.
So, getting back to David, I just have to, interact with the viewers, of course.
Absolutely, yeah, that's what it's all about.
Oh God, they're all saying hello to each other. It's so funny. Okay, just pretend we're not even here,
Yeah.
people.
Just go amongst yourselves,
Yeah,
people.
why not? Why not? So, what other questions did we have for David? I know we had a ton, but when we get on air, we sometimes forget.
Yeah, so, we're single. Got that.
Yes.
He is 6 foot.
Even.
Yes, 6 foot even.
6 even, yeah.
Six
He's a
even.
good-looking man, ladies.
Yes.
Definitely a good-looking man.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting, very smart author.
Probably one of the most interesting men I've ever met.
Agreed. Agreed.
absolutely.
It'd probably be the most interesting guest we will have on
Oh,
Yeah.
don't say
the show.
that.
You're very
Well,
interesting.
they can take it a different way.
Yeah.
In a good way,
in
women.
a good way.
In a good way.
In a good way. Definitely in a good way. Come on.
Absolutely.
Come on. So, mom and dad are still in Great Neck. Okay. Been in the same house since you were a youngin'.
Yeah, in fact, it's kind of funny. I go back there, and when I used to take my kids there, they call it my little boy room because it is frozen in time from 1984.
Shut up!
So,
Oh my God! I need to. Why couldn't you bring pictures of that? I want to
I
see
know. I
that.
would have loved to have seen that.
yeah, so it is funny. So I'll go there, and sometimes I'll spend a week there sometime, to hang out with my parents, and so I
That's great.
regularly based out of there. And if I'm going to go into the city, sometimes I'll go out of there because it's closer. But yeah, so if you can imagine,
I
His dad's in the
That's
corner with his
all
little
I'm
hat and his little baseball mitt with the ball in it.
trophies,
Trophies, medals.
all my
Oh my
trophies,
God.
trophies are on the bookcase now.
I
I
love
have
it.
the animal
I love
posters
it.
on the wall. I have my Clint Eastwood poster hanging on the wall. I have all my airplane models
Oh my
hanging from the
God.
ceiling by
Oh my
wires.
God.
There, and I still have. This is kind of a cool part too. Back in kindergarten, so this would have been like 1971 or something. I went to the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus in Madison
Nice.
Square Garden.
I
And
used to
received
go.
I used to go.
two posters, came
Yeah.
in their little the program book. And back in kindergarten, I taped those posters to my door. They are still there. So those
Love it.
posters
In
from
perfect
1971,
condition.
slightly torn, but in
Okay.
pretty good condition. They're exactly taped where I taped them as a kindergarten. So when I
Love
close
it.
my door, it's kind of funny, like whoa. So every now and then, like when I go there and in the morning I wake up, it's like, oh, what year is it? Because everything was like frozen in time from when I left to join the Air Force in '84. And some of the stuff, like I said, dates all the way back to
That
the
is fun.
'70s. Two latch hook
Wow.
rugs that my sister made for me when she was in like second or third grade. So there's a Scooby-Doo and a Pluto latch hook rug that are hanging prominently on my wall in the bedroom too. So it's really kind of cute. The room is
Oh
just.
my God.
It's a kid room,
God.
they're all wallpaper with sailors and
Oh my
anchors,
God.
all trim all around the wall. So it's
I can name 5 movies right now.
so if we ever do my life story, we can film on
Oh
location.
my
in the
God.
room I grew
That
up
would
in.
be
I
fun.
think we need a new book to write.
Yes.
I'm really
Yes.
thinking about trying to get designated as a national historical site so that no one ever.
Exactly.
That may take a little bit of work. We'll see what we can do. I'll work through the county executive there and see what we can get.
We have Sally Della watching. Hello, Sally.
Hey,
Nice
Sally.
to see you out there. Oh my goodness, that was funny.
I'm just still dying.
My
Walking
daughter.
in your parents'
Yeah,
home
that's
and
amazing.
just seeing Scooby Doo Doo.
Where are you? Frankie!
Ruh-roh.
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 Oh my God.
Ugh, lions and tigers and bears. Oh my! It's too funny. So, David, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you play pool at all?
I
Billiards?
have, and went back in the days of Strategic Air Command, where we basically waited for the end of the world. We would live we'd be in a week at a time in a little facility, alert facility, right by the side of the runway. So if there was like a warning horn, if we thought like the Russians were going to attack, we'd all run to our jets and take off. So we had to do that for 1 week on, and basically every third week we had to do that.
Yeah.
So it gets pretty boring staying in a little facility, with nothing to do. So they did have a TV, but they also had a pool table and a ping pong table. So a lot of us would, play pool and stuff there. And I was pretty good back. I was pretty good back then. I'm way rusty now. So you guys are both probably.
I don't know. Tell them who you are, Rachel. Tell them who you are.
If any of my pool players are watching right now, they'd be like, Rachel. They don't think I could play. But no, so we'd love to have you join a league.
Rachel's the president of the APA.
Yes, I am. Love to have you join a league. So we are all about billiards.
Yes,
well,
we are.
at least I am.
I
And
love
she
billiards.
has a huge part of it.
I love it.
So yeah, if you ever want to come out, Nassau County, because I know you're in Suffolk.
Yeah, I'm in Suffolk now.
But so am I.
Yeah.
And so, but I travel, and we do have the best part about Nassau County APA, and I can't say just my league, but just APA in general, is getting out, meeting people, and just having fun, and that's pretty much what we promote.
8 ball in the corner pocket.
Woo! Unless you're playing 9 ball.
Right.
Yeah. Don't want to do
But-
that in 9
Nope,
ball.
No, but no, we have fun. Everybody has fun. It's a good time. It's becoming something bigger than I could ever imagine.
Yeah.
So it's good. I've probably introduced a lot of new games and a lot of new
Yes.
tournaments that nobody's ever imagined, and they, the pool world, it's its own world.
Rachel has put me in
Well,
touch with so many incredible people in the league.
She's probably met more people in the last 2 years. 'Cause
Yes.
she's 2 sessions now. In the last 2 years that she
Yeah.
thought she'd never meet. Now
Right.
she's become good friends with people, and
It's a whole family.
It
It's a
is.
huge most of the time happy family. There's no
Exactly.
family that's ever happy 100%
Without
of the time.
drama.
Exactly.
But it actually is a good time. But
Yeah, it is.
that's what I promote. Fun recreational, and as I said earlier, trying to get in the Big Sister program and the stack of pages, and
Oh,
just to
yeah.
do something
It's a
good for
lot
the
of work.
community and meet new people and do
Yeah,
things.
Rachel's working with the
you know.
Girl Scouts now, which is incredible. I
That
might
was
get
a fun,
involved.
That was a fun.
I might
actually
get
thing.
involved in that.
Yeah, so we had a Girl Scout troop. We went over to Michael's Billiards off of in Island Park, and we had 15 girls. Gave
That's
them their own
great.
sticks. Their
Girl power. Sorry, David.
It's okay.
Although you do have those red ruby slippers on. No, I'm just
I know.
kidding.
Still.
A joke.
But yeah, so we did a big Girl Scouts thing where taught them, gave them their own little sticks and their own little bags, and that's where it starts, and showing them that, hey, I am a small business, woman owned,
Mhm.
and not only that, you can actually, it's with a game, it's
Yes.
entertainment, it's
Yes.
fun. There's so many other things out there that people, it gets.
I walk
Put up
away
and
from
close.
the people that aren't having fun. I can't
Exactly.
do the drama anymore. So I'm all about the fun.
Yep.
And I just love to play, and I love the competition. And
Yeah,
if you're a
and-
competitive person, you would
Exactly.
love it. Definitely.
Absolutely.
But now you also a few years back started doing tours. So some of you out there might have actually met David. Tell them where you at the Cradle of Aviation.
Yeah, I volunteer at the Long Island Cradle of Aviation Museum. If you've never been there, you need to go. It is
It's awesome.
the gem
Love it.
museum on Long Island. It's incredible. They've got
Yes.
70, I think 75 some odd aircraft there. They have like one aircraft that is like the fourth oldest aircraft in the United States, 10th oldest in the world. They have a complete lunar module, lunar lander there. I mean, there's only like a couple of those in the world because most of them that existed are like space trash sitting on the moon.
Right.
But this was one that was built for the Apollo 19 mission that never went because the Apollo mission ended at Apollo 17. So it's a full-blown, LEM sitting there that was designed by the folks at Grumman. And we have people who were part of building those spaceship who work at the museum who will tell you about their experiences in real time.
Yes.
Working on the space program and working to build, those ships and. Just a wonderful group of volunteers and wonderful exhibits.
I've been there many times.
It's fantastic. So yeah,
Many
I do
times.
volunteer there regularly as a docent, and if you haven't been there, I highly
Thank you
encourage,
for doing that too.
It's a great museum.
Definitely take your kids, go on your own. It's just it's an interesting place to be, and you learn so much.
And we're coming out of the whole COVID thing, so we closed down for a number of months with COVID, and then for the last. I don't know how many months we've been in sort of COVID procedures where we're all wearing face masks and everything. We still are doing the full sanitizing of everything regularly, and we're starting to open up some of the interactive exhibits again. But I think now the face mask requirement is finally being lifted, but they're being very careful. They're still sanitizing everything, so
sure.
Great care is being taken to make it safe and fun.
Now is that run by the county?
No, it's not run by the county, but the county does help some with the funding, but it's private.
Who funds that? Do you know?
Well, basically, visitors.
Just
And then
visitors,
they do various
Donate.
events. Yeah, donate, and every year they have a number of gala and just amazing big events there. In fact, I just got a
Really?
Facebook reminder. Now they did when the Apollo had its 50th anniversary in 2019. So they had a wonderful event where they had like 5 Apollo astronauts and like 2 or 3 Apollo mission controllers all show up for a dinner. And they invited the community, so you could come, and pay certain money for a plate. But to hear them speak, and I mean, where in the world we see all these people in one place?
Yes. Wow.
And then, so if that wasn't cool enough for a lifetime New York Mets fan like me,
Go Mets! Go
shortly
Mets!
thereafter, they
Wait,
have-
Jets and Islanders too?
I'm an Islanders, but I do like the Giants slightly over.
That's okay. That's okay. As long as it's Mets and
Rockies,
Islanders.
Broncos, for my people.
Friends forever. Mets and
So
Islanders.
they have like I don't know how many, like a dozen of the 1969 World Series team from the New York Mets show up for an event at the Cradle of Aviation.
Wow.
Again, it was the 50th anniversary of them, winning the World Series there. So the Miracle Mets. So again, seeing a lot of these great people, Cleon Jones, Ed Kranepool. I mean, all these stars
Ed Kranepool,
from that
wow.
Mets team show up and talk to us, at the event, which is so much fun. Just a wonderful, wonderful event. So they're always putting on these great things. A lot of great stuff for the kids, but for everyone, adults, and so they do those events to try to get money. Then, of course, admissions and school groups come through. They have a wonderful education program there where they'll bring a lot of student groups through and and work on STEM programs and teach them everything like from drones to weather to all sorts of just amazing.
So all your
topics.
school teachers out there, listen
Yeah,
to this info.
absolutely. We love having school groups through, and that's one of the fun things we do when the school groups come through. We spend time with the kids.
And now you do guest speaking at the local schools in our area as well, correct?
Yeah, I have. I've done a number of veterans events, like on Veterans Day. There's some schools that will invite veterans in, and we talk to all the students about our experiences in the military. Great Neck South Middle, for example, has a wonderful program where they'll have all the kids have these questions, and they'll interview us and they'll take notes, on our experiences. And we have a wide range of veterans. We have some actually World War II veterans who, thank God, are still around. But as time goes on,
Bless them.
we'll sadly lose them. The greatest generation. But so we have World War II vets, Korea vets, Vietnam vets. Me, I represent more the Desert Storm up to a more modern era there. But we have veterans from all those different eras. Sharing their unique stories with the kids. One of them was actually part of liberating people, those prisoner of or the concentration camps as well. So he has just incredible stories of going in there and and seeing the aftermath.
Just got goosebumps.
I know. I'm like,
oh my goodness.
And so just terrific, wonderful people, and it's just great to share those with the kids, and it's wonderful to capture that because in the end, all of us will be gone with time, and so it's wonderful to have kids who are interested and learn the stories and maybe interview us. In some cases, put us on film so that some of that is captured for future generations. So that's pretty special stuff.
My mom, as a young child, was actually placed in a war camp with her mom.
Wow.
The Japanese soldiers came in and took my grandfather, who was an overseas jeweler, and they were in China at the time.
Wow.
And so my mother had a rough childhood. She would see children passed on the side of the street, unfortunately, little girls, because they didn't want the girls, they wanted the boys being born, But let's get back to the happy stuff. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to bring it up. I'm sorry. He reminded me of it. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
So
uplifting.
Yeah. So when you go to the local schools like Great Neck South, you bring pamphlets and what do you do?
It depends. Usually what I'll do is I'll bring, either a bunch of pictures or sometimes I'll bring my iPad with a bunch of photos.
Oh, that's great. Yes, they do.
So I always wear my uniform for those events. So I'll go there and I'll wear all the, the fancy.
Now, what's the minimum age group you think is, I don't want to say smart enough because all the kids today are smart, but intelligence level wise, what's the minimum age group you go in and speak with?
I've spoken to kids at all ages, actually. I've spoken to some really young elementary school kids too, usually middle school and up, but it really depends what you're talking and where you want to go.
Right.
If you're just talking about, excuse me, hey, this is what a veteran is and this is what we do. I mean, you can come in, at the very low level elementary school, but if you're going to start to talk about the, some of the more difficult things about hey, is it terrifying? Were you scared? Did you ever kill anybody? What do you think about killing people? Is war wrong or wrong right? I mean, those are very difficult questions, and most of us
that's hard to answer.
We don't mind engaging on that, but those are the kind of things that probably isn't going to go well with elementary school kids because they don't really can't really appreciate all the nuances. But by the time you get to be a teenager, so again from middle school, probably at the lower level on up, they start to understand that, and they have, some pretty deep thought. We a lot of times don't give credit to the, young kids in high school, but they are, a lot of them, just so smart and so bright, and they understand a lot more than we know. And some of them ask some really, insightful, difficult questions that, get you thinking, and that's always fun. I mean, I love being challenged by tough questions, and I always tell them, hey, there's nothing off the the table there, and sometimes they're worried they're going to insult us, but most of us, we understand that they're just seeking to understand what we were thinking, our views on things. So I mean, it's I don't mind and sharing my thoughts. And some will agree, some won't agree, but that's part of the conversation that we all need to have.
I get it.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
what was your most memorable time in the Air Force?
There were, obviously a lot
I
of.
know there was a bunch, but
Yeah, there's a bunch. And, it's funny too. Some people want to say, "What was your favorite assignment?" And I'll say that there's different parts and pieces of different assignments that I loved. For example, the most fun place I lived on the Air Force was in England because it's a different country. They spoke English, and you could just go driving and explore castles on the weekend, and it was just really sort of fun and quaint. And the culture was different, but yet it was close enough that you could understand, but it was different enough that it made it unique and sort of fascinating. But then again, my tour at the Air Force Academy, getting to mentor and teach, college age, men and women who are getting ready to go into service and make a pretty big commitment in their life that could potentially, give their lives.
Yes.
That's serious business, and that was important to me, and I felt, very strongly about that. So I absolutely loved that job as well. So different parts and pieces. In terms of just experiences, I know it's probably kind of grim, but honestly, war and Desert Storm, especially for me, and that happened early in my career. I was still pretty young. I was a first lieutenant when I deployed out to war, but something that I envisioned, before I joined the Air Force, and certainly my 4 years at the Air Force Academy, was all sort of heading that direction. It was all about, okay, I have made a commitment, to potentially give my life for a greater cause. And I felt that you're not really tested until you put that to the test. For me, it was very interesting. I mean, Desert Storm was coming up. I was young enough, and really, I did not have to go. No one said you need to go, but I just felt the need. I knew it was coming. Desert Shield kicked off, which was started in August of 1990. So that's when Iraq invaded Kuwait, and so here you have a country, invading another. They were raping, pillaging, just devastating, torturing people in that country. I mean, just horrible, horrible stuff. And we're getting all the reports. Some of that never made it to the news, but we were getting all the intelligence reports of the real stuff that was happening, and it was horrible. And we all knew it was bad. And immediately I knew, okay, this is something I need to be a part of. We can't just have countries going and taking over another country and just totally, doing horrible things there. And so I actually, raised my hand and volunteered. In fact, I remember I was on alert duty, SAC alert. I was sitting in the hallway with my crew, and our operations officer, who was a, senior gray-haired, Air Force lieutenant colonel, was walking down the hallway, and I just jumped up. I said, "Sir, I need to get out to this thing. I got to be part of this." And he just looked at me. He's like,
he's incredible.
He said, "Be careful what you wish for, Dave. Is this what you really want?" And I said, "Yes, sir, this is what I really want." And the funny part is my air crew, because back then we had hard crews that we all flew together all the time. My crew's like, "No, that's our navigator. That's not us. That's our navigator." Yeah. So, and it was true. And they wanted to not go. They did not go. But the thing was, they had one crew, the last crew we were sending out the door, had a navigator and a co-pilot who, for various personal reasons, or one was trying to get an advanced degree and in the middle of it, but they did not want to go out to that event. So it opened up a position. So then my ops officer came back to me. He's like, "Well, this is what you wanted, Dave. I'm sending you, and you're going on this crew to fill the navigator slot." And a buddy of mine, who was also first lieutenant, got to fill the co-pilot slot on that crew. Yeah. So we were the last crew out the door, heading out to the war. So for me, it was. I mean, it's kind of like being in a movie. I mean, it was really.
I could imagine.
I can't even imagine.
I couldn't even imagine. And
I still try to wrap my brain around.
It's like, I'm an electrician. I'm going to do this kind of work. Here I am flying in a jet, fighting for our world. I mean, it's just two different stories.
Nancy Weems is chiming in.
This is where I'm intrigued. I'm most in when we say thank you for our services. Like most people don't live your life.
No.
You understand? It's like nobody.
They have no idea what you think.
I couldn't even imagine.
No.
And I'm very intrigued. And when my actual nephew comes in and tells me his things, I'm in tears. I'm like, wow, just the stories he has to tell me. Like, nobody gets to live this type of life.
No.
And it's very interesting.
Nancy Weems is chiming in. She's saying good evening, and she said that her son was there at Desert Storm as well. So thank your son for his service as well. Who else is saying? Taz! What's up, Taz?
Hey, Taz.
And Allison Hill, all the way from California. What's up, Lola?
Got a party.
And everybody's still saying hello to everybody. But wow, yeah, I can't even imagine some of the things that you've had to endure doing the things that you've done. I mean, is there anything in particular that sticks out in your mind? And you don't have to talk about whatever you don't want to talk about. It's fine with us.
In terms of, you said endure, or in terms of what particular?
Any situation that sticks out in your mind frequently
That may intrigue us.
may
That
intrigue
like
us,
anybody.
right,
That's it's just a story,
like a mission
or something.
or
Like, because we all want to know that. Was it? Oh my God! Did you kill anybody?
no, I don't.
I don't want to know that. And trust me, I do not want to know that.
No,
But
that's
just
not, no.
not the horror story, but just something that's so, like, one night, all of a sudden.
I have a few of those. I call them. I always say that was a good Air Force day. There's certain days where things kind of happened that were you felt very, very proud of. One I wrote about in the book, but I don't mind sharing the story as well because it's not really part of the main story of the book. But during Operation Allied Force, which again was 1990. I always get the years a little bit. I think 1998, I believe, or 99. It might have been 99.
I was just born.
So that was Slobodan Milosevic basically again invading foreign country, and there wars going on there. So UN resolution, we were flying to support the UN resolution. So again, that was full on combat operation. They actually had an Air Force, they had missile threats as well. So it was kind of sporty. At the time, I was flying out of England, so this was very strange. Desert Storm is easier because I'm living in a tent and I'm going out and flying a mission, and my entire world's focused on the mission. During Allied Force, I'm flying from my home base. So in the morning, it's like, hey, honey, I'm going to get some groceries. Hey, could you pick up some bread at the grocery store? And then that night, I'm getting in an airplane going to fly a combat mission.
Yeah.
And you're gone for like a month.
No.
No?
I'm coming back each night. In that case,
okay.
Yeah, in that case, so you'd fly a mission, you'd take off whatever at 8 at night, and then at 6 in the morning, you'd land again. You're just all weird, and now all of a sudden you're there, and your kids are around you, and you have family responsibilities.
Right.
And that was really kind of not easy for me. That was
It has to be hard to adjust.
Which part was this? Where was this?
Oh, this during Operation Allied Force. I was in England, so I was living in England, and my house was in England, and I was flying missions out of England. So I basically show up at night. I'm with the kids, being family dad during the morning, and then at night I'm going out and flying a combat mission, hoping that I come back.
Your soul.
Yes.
And then you come back, and it's very difficult. It's tough to transition between, hey, I'm a dad, now I'm a warrior. Now
How
I'm a
old
dad,
were your kids?
now I'm a husband, now I'm a warrior. It's much easier just to go somewhere, deploy, and be out for 6 months and do your job.
How old were your kids at that time?
You have four at the.
You have
four kids.
Yes.
Yeah, one of them, my little princess, was actually born in England, so I call her my princess because she has a British birth certificate. So she was a British citizen, I think, before she was an American.
My dad was born in Liverpool.
She watches.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So she was born there. So at that time, I had two children. I had my oldest daughter, and then my oldest son. What is it that point?
Yes. So now your oldest son is.
He is 20. I'll be 25 here in next month.
Next month, today. And how did they go down?
Oh, so 4 kids, bracketed, boys at the ends, girls in the middle.
Yeah.
So they're from age 17 through 25. And I know I sort of sidetracked my story there, but that's what I do. That's what the story.
We jump around.
Yeah.
We never stay on topic. Yes.
Means we're going to be all over the place. We're going to jump around. Everybody knows me. Knows I'm famous for just jumping off of one story right into another. Then
This is why this was a perfect setup here tonight, because we do the same thing.
So I do that all the time. I go off on a branch story, but So anyway, just a quickie shout out to all military kids. They call them military brats. Is the unofficial.
Military brats.
Yeah, that's the sort of the official, unofficial name for military children there. But what a hard life. I mean, they've seen my son. I think his first 7 birthdays he had all in different houses. They stick with it. They hang with you, and they go.
They adjust.
They
the
go
kids
from
adjust.
school
Wow.
to school, so they're always having to say goodbye to friends and make new friends. So it's very different from if you ever grew up in one area, like the kids you knew in elementary school. You grow up together and you're going and partying together in high school. very different because you have to realize these military kids are always moving
Absolutely.
from place to place.
So
Absolutely.
how often would you be in one place before you would have to move to another location?
On average, through my 30 years, I think I figured about every 2.5 years I was moving.
Wow.
So
That's
there were
amazing.
some places. The longest I ever was any one place was 4.5 years. The shortest I was ever at any one place was probably about like 6 months in terms of living there. Now I've been deployed places, but I don't count that. I count places where I actually had that domicile and had a license plate. So I've lived in I think 10 states and 2 foreign countries. So I've Texas license plates.
Oh, you kept all the
I
plates?
have all the plates.
Oh,
I do.
that's
awesome.
awesome.
So I have plates.
You have a
license
man
plates.
cave? And all the license
If
plates
I
are
ever
all
get a
over?
garage, I have an apartment now, but when I ever get a garage, I'm nailing all those to the
There
wall.
you
of the garage. I have
go.
all the license
Absolutely.
plates.
Wow.
I even have my British license plates. So I even have UK
That's
has
incredible.
special weird license plates. It's like 591 BAV.
Oh, yeah.
One on top of the other.
That's
So,
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
so kind of cool. But
That is
anyway,
cool.
shout out to all the young children out there who are
Yes.
that's a tough
Absolutely.
life, and
I want to thank everybody for their services, and
Yes.
especially, Robbie, got your heart, baby.
Yes. Shout out to Robbie.
So there I was flying over Europe.
This is a joke.
And it was the night I was flying. Going back to that real story, quick story. Are you familiar with stealth fighters like the F-117 the stealth fighter? It's different from the stealth bomber, but basically that was the coolest thing at the time. It was brand new, just revealed. In fact, the first time
What year?
This is Desert Storm. So
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry. No, this particular story I'm telling now is 1998. So this is Operation Allied Force. But the
Okay.
first time the stealth fighters ever officially kind of came, they may have actually flown in Panama before that. But basically, Desert Storm was like the first time they really used them. And the first time I refueled one right before Desert Storm. Now again, I'm on a branch story. Just again, I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement. I got called into the squadron one night, and they put paperwork in front of me, and they said, "Okay, you're about to refuel something tonight. You're not allowed to discuss what you refueled. You're not allowed to describe verbally to anyone what you see tonight, and you're certainly not allowed to take any photos. So sign here." And we went up and we refueled these black, strange-looking, jets, the F-117 stealth fighters,
Yeah.
Nighthawks. So we refueled them that night. But during the
So cool.
they were like really, really cool planes.
Yeah.
But anyway,
So cool.
they were like, you can't touch this because no one can see it and they're invisible and whatever else. Well, unfortunately, during Allied forces, one of those got shot down. And it was like super, classified type of aircraft. But so there's a pilot on the ground, and I'm up refueling that night. And we were what they call bingo fuel, meaning you're all out of fuel. It's time for you to head home. As a navigator, we were 2 ships. So that night I was actually number 2 airplane. So we had 2 tankers flying together, and we'd been refueling stuff. We were like really low on fuel, so it was time for us to head back. But I heard the call over the secure radio that this plane went down, and we had a pilot on the ground. So there's a pilot there, and the enemy was like closing in on him, trying to capture him. So he would have been a POW. And when I heard that, I knew that they're going to have to put together a strike package to go in and try to rescue the guy. So typically the helicopters will do the pickup, but you have like A-10 fighters and other fighter cover over top, protecting the helicopters as they're going in. So they put together a huge package to go in to rescue a downed pilot. So when I heard that, I said, we got to stay. And I started working numbers, and I was like really, really good at what I did. So I was doing a bunch of math, and I checked all the winds that night. So I knew if we got up really high, that the winds were going to be lighter heading back to base. And so I said, we need to stay. I said, I think we can stay. In fact, I know we can stay an additional hour on station, and we need to do that because we need to refuel, give gas to some of these aircraft that are going to go to rescue this pilot.
Wow.
So sure enough, we were up there, and they sent a couple EA-6B Prowlers, which were a Navy jamming aircraft. They do electronic jamming, so they jam all the enemy radars.
Right.
So they came up to us, and we had enough fuel left over. In fact, the lead airplane initially, like, we're going home, and my pilot's like, well, my nav says we've got time, and we've got less fuel than you do, so if you want to go home, go home. So we shamed him into staying, so both of us stayed. And we passed fuel to the jammers, and they went in with the package. And then, sure enough, we're heading back to base. And the best radio call I ever heard was you heard on the secure radio, "Hey, we got the pilot. We picked him up." Such a good feeling.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
a great story.
That is actually a great story.
Yeah, I would just say, that's one of the, there's a few of those memories that I have from my time in service. And you just look back, I'm like, man, I made a difference, and we did something good.
Absolutely.
That was one of those nights. So anyway, that's just one story. There's several, but
Well,
yeah,
I'd love to have you come back on for a second visit, maybe next
Absolutely.
month, because we are running out of time and we still have a giveaway to do.
Oh, giveaways, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do the
That's right.
giveaway.
That's right.
Now,
Oh,
David,
I'm
if
giving
you
hints.
could-
I'm giving
if
hints in
you
the
can
background.
hold up your book
Oh,
so
sure.
they know this
We are going to
is,
give away
you're getting David's book, a copy of David's book, and
bestseller.
a t-shirt that says the Disturbed and Confused Show. So I'm going to show you all a picture like we've done, and you will have to guess what it is, people. I know you can all see this one. It's so much better than last time. So take a crack at it, guys. Crack being a hint. I will give one other hint. You can put things in it, and that's all I'm going to go with. And
That's it?
Let's
That's
wait.
quick?
Let's wait 2 minutes. Let's
That's
wait
okay.
2 minutes and let them guess. And if they can't guess it with that, that's their problem. No, I'm just kidding. But let's
other
see
hints
if
can we
anybody
give?
guesses. Well, you would probably only use it once a year, I would
Yeah.
assume, right? Yeah, once a year maybe.
It usually comes out once a year. And did you know my birthday's in April?
Is it really?
No.
Oh. Anyway, yeah, so can we please guess? No, it's not tinfoil, Taz. It's not foil.
Well,
Bonnie
it's-
says it's definitely not maxi pads like she said last time.
I love the Maxi
Bonnie
Pad
kept
thing like that.
guessing maxi
I love the
pads.
Maxi Pad things last time.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's another good hint?
It's not flowers. Nice try, Nancy. It's not flowers. I will show the picture one more time, people.
What is your favorite dessert?
My favorite dessert would be chocolate.
Oh.
Chocolates.
Chocolate.
Yes.
So you can put things in it. It has to do with chocolate. You would probably use it once a year. And what was the
maybe
other
in
one?
April.
Maybe in April, sometimes in March.
Well, it depends on the year. It depends on the religion.
Come on, people. Let's hear your guesses. If you want a copy of David's book and a t-shirt. What is that? What is that?
it?
What did Taz write? Chalk what?
Chocolates?
No, it's not. Taz, really? An Easter basket? No, Marilyn, but
It
you're
goes.
close. No,
And-
no! You're giving it away.
I know, but we're running out of time.
And now I have the
With
munchies.
3 minutes.
Cadbury? No, it's not a Cadbury. It's not an Easter basket. But it has to do with an Easter. Stop cheating! You do
I
this
know
all
the
the
time in this camera.
Yes, it's an egg. Nancy Weems, you are the winner. It's one of
It
those
goes
eggs you
in-
can open
it's the
and
book.
put like $5 in
Yeah.
or chocolates or whatever. So yes, Nancy Weems, you are a winner. You're getting a copy of David's book, The Quest, and you will be getting a Disturbed and Confused Show t-shirt.
Woo-hoo.
Yes, good going, Nancy. That a girl. So do me a favor, Nancy, and private message me your address. Don't put it on the feed. You don't want any weirdos like my friends just showing up at your door
Or
But-
me.
or me. But yes, and Karen, she didn't type fast enough. Sorry, but you already know you're getting a t-shirt, so
Come
stop
on.
that.
You should have got your kid in there.
Yay, Nancy's the winner. So I would love to thank you for
Oh,
your
my pleasure.
service.
Can't thank you enough.
Cannot thank you enough. They're all thanking you, sending hearts, thumbs up,
Thanks, everyone.
everything, smiley faces. I cannot wait to have you come back again. I would be honored if you would do that, maybe in a couple of months, and
Sure.
we can do a part 2 of our little show.
Maybe a new book.
Maybe a new book by
He
then.
did say
Who
he's working on some new
knows?
material.
Who
And he's got a
knows?
couple of new things coming out here. So maybe when that actually approaches, we can get him out here and show us everything he's got. Because I'm looking forward to reading his book.
Yes,
Actually.
me too. I can't wait. That's going to be a great summer read for me. And also, let's do a shout out to our sponsors. over at the Harmony Bar in Levittown. Jimmy and Tara, thank you so much for being so supportive. Go see them. Wonderful bar. You can play pool. You can have a few drinks, meet some great people. It's a great crowd, all different ages. The bartenders are wonderful. Everyone's wonderful over there. And
That's
who
right.
else? Maryland's Customs, who made us these lovely cups. Disturbed and confused.
Nassau County APA.
APA, baby, American Pool Association. You want to get in on the fun? You can search up.
By night out. Good time. Come on out.
Yes. APA.com. You can also search Rachel Webb.
Yep.
It'll all come up.
NASA.
She is the president. As I always say, my co-host is the president.
Yep.
And a good one.
Yeah.
Yay! But anyway, that's all we have for tonight, and we are looking forward to seeing you next week. We have some great guests coming on. We have Frank Asso, who is a fantastic actor who I have filmed with in a previous film. We also have Charlie Sousa coming on from the movie Gotti, which John Travolta was in, released back in 2017. So we will see you all next week. Love to every one of you. Great seeing you. See you next Tuesday. Mwah!
Thank
Love
you.
you.
Mwah.
So long, everyone.
She does.
End broadcast.